Thank you for joining JTV News. I'm Peter Gay Coombs. Here are the headlines. Governor rebuked again for colonial days-like action.
There is no question that the governor has the right in the Constitution to invoke the section, but it offended the pride of our people.
Elmore Stout High aims to get students in line.
One of our main focuses this summer is to establish a sound discipline system for the school that is aimed at moving away from the punitive methods, reducing the number of suspensions.
Opposition leader proposes tourism training center to guarantee more jobs for locals.
This will significantly reduce the number of work permits being requested for in this area. Jobs will now be looking for us.
Soca Monarch competition now a part of Emancipation Festival lineup. The big story this week, domestic violence victim lives to tell the horrifying story of how she came dangerously close to losing her life. In Caribbean news, forecasters keeping an eye on Tropical Storm Depression 4. Germany reportedly shells out millions for leaked Panama Papers data. And Destra sued for going too hard on one of her fans. In our Medical Minute feature, ever heard of a brain bank? Well, Dr. Geronimo Jones has the answer in our Mayo Clinic Medical Minute. The news in detail after this break.
If you're looking for extra savings and free benefits
with car insurance and
home insurance,
Colonial has just the cover you need.
there's a free $250 gift voucher for new home insurance customers too, and 10% car insurance discount if you have home insurance.
With a claim service that's quick and friendly.
We call it cover without added costs.
Call for a quote on 494-8450 or Virgin Gorda 495-6403 or visit cgigroup.com.
Colonial, where people come first.
Welcome back to JTV News. The British Virgin Islands recently celebrated Territory Day, the commencement of the handling of its own affairs on July 1, 1956. Soon thereafter followed the ministerial system of governance. Minister of Education and Culture Myron Walwyn said that Territory Day is a symbol of great pride for Virgin Islanders as it comes closest to an independence observation for the former British colony. It is for this reason that Minister Walwyn took issue with the recent exercising of constitutional powers by outgoing Governor John Duncan, which he argued took the BVI back to a period in its history it would rather leave in the past.
The recent actions of the governor to invoke Section 103 of the Constitution was met by contempt by many persons who know the struggles and triumphs of our country. There is no question that the governor has the right in the Constitution to invoke the section, but it offended the pride of our people. It took us back for a moment to a place that we have long passed and have no interest in returning to, however well-intentioned his actions were.
Earlier this year, Minister Walwyn took the governor to task for comments publicly criticizing the Dr. D. Orlando Smith administration, reminding the governor that the territory has made great strides as a new democracy and highlighting that while there is more to be done, significant progress has been made in the area of good governance and accountability since Governor Duncan's appointment. In that scathing critique, the governor questioned the administration's allocation of monetary resources while seeming to place more emphasis on its international rather than local courts and the police force. Governor Duncan asserted that there were several pieces of legislation which are yet to be enacted but which would be critical to Britain entertaining any talks of political separation, including the Freedom of Information Act, whistleblower legislation, and a Human Rights Commission. Meanwhile, Minister Walwyn in his Territory Day address asserted that the BVI must build on the foundation laid by its forefathers in forging a stronger and more resilient people and country, which was initially left to become a bird sanctuary.
We have handled the affairs of our territory very well since 1967. We have not been perfect, and indeed no country is perfect, even those that may think that they are perfect. There are things that we still must do, and we need to get on with them. But there has been steady growth in the handling of our economy and many areas since we've had greater autonomy. We were able, through the leadership of our people, to develop an impressive road network system territory-wide. We were able to develop our telecommunication systems, which we were able to connect us to different parts of the territory and to anywhere in the world. We were able to develop a modern electricity system. We were able to have free education now up to the tertiary level. We were able to develop our health and social services system that provide a safety net for our people. We were able to develop a vibrant financial services sector and an excellent tourism product. This year's US News and World Report named the BVI as the #1 place for vacation in the Caribbean. The recent report entitled Creating Value, the BVI's global contribution, revealed that our tiny country enables global investment and trade that supports more than 2 million jobs worldwide and contributes more than $15 billion in tax revenues annually for governments around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come a very long way since 1967, and we should be very proud. I am proud to say what a wonderful bird sanctuary we have now.
This year's Territorial Day activities were observed under the theme Territorial Awakening, Resilience in a Time of Challenge and Change. The administration of the Elmore Stout High School is committed to the task of attaining the highest level of discipline among its student population, as this has been a continued challenge. What steps are being taken in this regard? Kathy Richards tells us.
The level of indiscipline at the Elmore Stout High School in its current state is not locked within the classrooms or the perimeter of the school, but is spilled beyond, where students are oftentimes seen on social media and other public spaces engaged in brawls and even showing a high level of disregard for themselves and those in authority. There have been reports of students even getting physical with teachers at school. Young girls are seen in compromising positions with men, boys smoking in and out of school uniforms, and even acts of traffic violations, just to mention a few. Determined to do what the school sees best to get a handle on matters of discipline, Principal Miss Sandy Underhill says that a time has been set aside this summer to work on a strategic mechanism geared at achieving this objective.
For the new school year, we will focus on improvements aimed at fostering a positive culture of discipline. One of our main focuses this summer is to establish a sound discipline system for the school that is aimed at moving away from the punitive methods, reducing the number of suspensions. We want a system of behavior change management. This is in an effort to modify the behavior of students through the establishment of intervention methods and behavior education, and to reward positive behavior as a means to encourage students with negative behaviors to strive for excellence. We think this will foster a more positive culture and ethos of our school. This plan moves or promises to move from traditional approaches to discipline and will require the support of parents and the wider community.
According to Ms. Underhill, the media will have an integral role in this process, as they will be utilized to explain the system, its expectations and requirements of staff, students, and the community. On the other hand, there are a number of other plans to uplift the standards of the territory's leading secondary school.
Plans for the new school year will include further development of our emergency protocol system, focusing on collaborative efforts with the DDM in an effort to ensure that ESHS meets safe school status and are able to facilitate scheduled emergency drills. We will continue with efforts to create a positive perception of our school through ongoing public relation initiatives aimed at highlighting the many positive attributes accomplished by our school.
Ms. Underhill made those revelations recently at the territory's historic graduation for 12th graders. Come the academic school year 2017-2018, Underhill and her over 200 staff will manage over 1,600 students. For JTV News, Kathy Richards.
With the British Virgin Islands tourism sector accounting for 1 in 4 jobs, opposition leader Andrew Foy is advocating for the establishment of a tourism training centre to cater to the broad-ranging and evolving needs of the tourism sector, and more importantly, to reduce the number of work permits being issued for the sector in order to prioritize the employment of locals.
Today, most of our resorts are experiencing unprecedented challenges. Some of those challenges include locating skilled persons to work. I put it to you today on Territory Day that we must be resilient in this time of challenge. Like our forefathers, we must tackle the issues at hand head-on with one mind, one heart, and in oneness with God. We must get all our tourism stakeholders to come together with government to develop a tourism training school center for every aspect of the tourism industry, so that the people in the Virgin Islands can be trained to the standards being demanded of our Marais, or Oil Nut Bay, or Guana Island, or Long Bay Hotel, among all the others. Once they are trained in this tourism service training center, then we must ensure and agree that each of our tourism establishments will hire from this pool of persons to fill vacant jobs, with the only exceptions being certain areas of speciality.
Mr. Foy reiterated the necessity of policies and key legislation such as conflict of interest and campaign financing as critical to the Virgin Islands' continued advancement.
We must put on the clothes of being our brother's keeper, the clothes of transparency, accountability, integrity through our actions and not only through our words. Actions such as the passing of freedom of information legislation, conflict of interest legislation, campaign finance legislation, whistleblowing legislation to protect public servants and other needed legislation, as well as policies and decisions that will put Virgin Islanders in the front of the car rather than in the back or not in the car at all.
In 2013, Eustace Boss Freeman came out with the staging of a Soca Monarch competition held around the Emancipation Festival season. 5 years later, a strengthened bond with the Virgin Islands Festival and Fairs Committee sees the much-anticipated event being fully incorporated in the activities of festival in the BVI. Here's more in this Kathy Richards report.
Soca Monarch 2017 is set for August 3rd. Thursday night in the festival village, smack dab in the center of the festival. We're excited to have it there.
Smack dab and excited indeed is Eustace Boss Freeman, as through Perseverance, HD Promotions' annual Soca Monarch is now fully on the Virgin Islands Festival and Affairs calendar of activities for 2017 to be staged at the Neil Mele Blyden Festival, Rotown, Tortola.
The Festival and Fairs Committee, along with HG Promotion, we've been working together. From last year, it was a part of the calendar. However, it was on the outside of the festival, the weekend before the festival actually started. But this time, like I said, it's on the August 3rd, which is within the festival. It had little logistics that kept us from having it within the festival in terms of sponsorship clashing. But this year we were able to work that out, and we're excited to be working with the Festival Affairs Committee and having the show at that time.
HD Promotions staged the first Soca Monarch back in 2013. However, in 2016, it was tweaked a bit from its original format into one that features an international flair, and according to Mr. Freeman, the same can be expected this year.
We are sticking with the same format that we have, the international format, where we're going to have artists from away coming and competing against our local artists. So we have the Rainy Road Mass champion from St. Martin is going to be here. Roma, he's a 3-time defending Road Mass champion in St. Martin. We have the reigning Soca Monarch from St. Kitts. He's going to be coming. That's Ruckus. We have Kelly Jr., up and coming star from St. Thomas. He's going to be here. We also have Face from Stacia. He's going to be coming as well to compete. Of course, we have Cool Session out of St. Thomas. They're going to be opening the evening. The beloved Cool Session, they're going to be getting the pace, starting the things off here for us at the Soca Monarch competition. And then to close the evening, we have a special guest. I don't want to let that one out of the bag yet. We have a special guest to close the evening. And of course, Every artist is going to be backed up by a Showtime band. From the BVI, we have the Reigning Soca Monarch JJ, we have Pascal, we have Drastic, we have B More, we have Mr. Blues, we have Chico B, we have Chap Chap. All from the BVI representing for the $10,000.
The official announcement of the Soca Monarch competition being held in the Neil Mele Blyden Festival as part of the 2017 celebrations was done by the VI Festival and Fairs Committee Chairman, Mr. Trevor Grant, at a press briefing on July 4, 2017. For JTV News, Kathy Riches.
Still to come on JTV News, in the big story, domestic violence survivor speaks. But first, other news making headlines in the Caribbean.
Here in the Virgin Islands, we are blessed to live and work in paradise. Paradise just doesn't mean our tranquil blue waters and green hills. National Bank of the Virgin Islands defines paradise as any place or condition that fulfills your aspirations.
To me, paradise means knowing that I will have a financing partner when I'm ready to open my first business.
I feel confident that I can manage whatever life throws my way because I know my bank will be with me every step of the way.
That's why I choose National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
My future's looking so bright, 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 bright with the official bank of paradise.
National Bank of the Virgin Islands, the official bank of paradise.
Meteorologists will be keeping their eyes on Tropical Depression 4 as it heads north of the Leeward Islands. According to AccuWeather.com, the system is expected to have challenges in developing into a fully named storm over the next couple of days. Forecasters say into Friday there is a chance the system could become a tropical storm dawn. However, the prediction is that after Friday, some weakening of the system is likely. However, as the system moves towards the west-northwest over the weekend, it is forecast to minimally impact Puerto Rico and the Leeward Islands as it weakens while heading toward the southern Atlantic. Germany's Federal Crime Office, BKA, says it is in possession of data pertaining to the leaked Panama Papers, which showed that offshore companies were used to hide the wealth of some of the world's most rich and powerful. The BKA has not commented on whether it purchased the leaked information, but German media have reported government sources claiming that $5.7 million have been paid. Germany's Constitutional Court has ruled that paying for unlawfully obtained data is illegal. According to the BBC, Germany, France, and the UK are believed to have paid for data on bank customers as part of efforts to get tax evaders. The BKA says the data are being looked into with tax authorities to pursue criminal and fiscal offenses as well as tax fraud and evidence of arms trafficking and organized crime. And Trinidad and Tobago's soca artist Destra Garcia has been ordered by a Belize court to pay up after an acrobatic performance on stage with a concert goer in Belize in September 2015. The plaintiff, Fernando Olivia, filed suit after rupturing his bladder when Garcia body slammed him after calling him on stage during the performance of her big hit Lucy. According to reports, when Olivia got up, his urine was leaking, at which point he was taken to the emergency room where it was discovered that his bladder had ruptured. Olivia's attorney says Garcia was served with the lawsuit but received a default judgment as she did not offer a defense. The soca star is part of the lineup for the British Virgin Islands Emancipation Festival in August. Still to come on JTV News, in the big story, living to tell the tale, domestic violence survivor shares her story. And energy is everything.
What do Toyota and Legacy Auto have in common? You can shop your 2017 Toyota models at a very special price at Legacy Auto. In stock now. Get the all-new 2017 Toyota Hilux, same legendary SR5 engine, the ultimate work or play pickup truck. Drive out in style with the all-new Toyota Tundra, the ultimate power and control. If that's still not right for you, or about the all-new 2017 Tacoma? Legendary. Need we say no more? The right choice for any adventure starts with the 2017 Toyota RAV4. Our legendary reliability at a price that you can afford. Also available at Legacy Auto, Toyota 4Runner, Toyota Highlander, Toyota Corolla, and the all-new 2017 Toyota Yaris in hatchback and sedan models. Legacy Auto is located at the R&R Malone Complex, Packwood Pond. Come test drive yours today and feel the power of Toyota beneath your feet. Legacy Auto.
The clock is ticking down to July 9-4. Caribbean Insurance Limited and the BVI Motorsports Association's Soapbox Derby 2017 at the HLSCC ground. Build a car and join the race. Get a chance to win cash prizes, trophies, and medals. Registration forms available at CIL's office. It's a family affair you can't afford to miss.
Welcome back to JTV News. It takes a very rare strength to overcome death-defying situations in life. Domestic violence reported in the territory are far too common and have a tendency to be too ghastly for many of us to begin to fathom. In part one of this week's big story, Kathy Richards and I are joined by a survivor who lived to tell an unimaginable story, Lucinda Gordon. The word survivor is not one that is thrown around loosely. It's a word that's used to describe someone who has undergone a near-death experience that leaves indelible marks. Now, to be a survivor, you have to have a strength of character, spirit, and integrity. And today on The Big Story, we're joined by such a woman. Her name is Lucinda Gordon, a survivor of domestic violence. And she has agreed to honor us, Kathy Richards and I, by sharing her story. Welcome to The Big Story, Lucinda.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
As you heard there, I threw about the word survivor, which a lot of us tend to talk about in situations as these, but how do you see yourself when it comes to that word?
I see myself as a fighter. From a youth, I fought, and today I continue to fight, to survive.
When you say from your youth you fought, we know for a fact that the fight that you are dealing with today, because you're with after pains, is that of being subject to domestic abuse, violent abuse. Is this something that goes way back into your youthful days?
Yes. Since this have happened to me in the past, I realized that I have suppressed certain things that happened in my youth. But when I was a youngster, there was domestic violence in my household. The domestic violence was geared towards my mother. And as the oldest child in the family, I was that person who always intervened and got involved between my father and my mother, and will take my father off my mother in terms of him battering her. And as a result, I received it. At times, I will get hit to the point where I see stars. So it stems back from a youth, from my childhood days.
And using that experience, did you ever think that you would end up at a stage in your life where that would follow you into adulthood? Did that ever cross your mind?
It never crossed my mind. Because in a sense, I suppress it so I can continue to live. It was something that never crossed my mind, but when I got into any type of relationship, I always told my partner about what happened to me as a youngster, and this is a place that we are not going to go. But my form of domestic violence was different. It did not involve abuse or physical abuse.
That's from the onset.
From the onset. My domestic violence is more geared around verbal abuse and psychological abuse, not physical abuse. And it started rather, only after we severed our relationship. We were no longer together when this happened to me.
So I'm taking it that there was no point in time where you envisaged that this would have become violent in the terms of physical.
Yes, in a sense, after he left, I had a situation where one day I came home and I found him in my house. He broke into the house. He was in bed, fast asleep, even to the point where he was snoring. I woke him up and asked him to leave, and in the process of asking him to leave, I lost my telephone. I was not able to call for any assistance. At the top of the hill, I had already put his stuff in a shed, and I decided to give him those items that he needed because I basically did not like how he looked. And I told him, go ahead and put them in the back of the truck, and I will take them down the hill to wherever you want me to take them to. While in the shed, he gave me a gift, 2 items, and I told him I don't really want anything from you. This relationship is over. On my way down the hill, he gave me another gift, of which I did not take either. It was a gold chain, and I personally prefer silver. And that was the last thing that I remember saying, or the next thing I remember was I felt shaken. I was standing, my body was not sturdy. I was shaking on my feet as I stood outside of on the street, because I heard in the background, in a dazed manner in the background, someone said, "It's coming up, we are pulling it up." And I realized that the truck that I was driving, and he was sitting next to me in the front seat, bared off the road and went over a cliff and was caught by tree roots. But on my head, I felt a lump. And I realized that I was hit by something, and on the non-driver's side was a broken window, and I saw a partial, what appeared to be part of a hammer. The stem of the hammer was not complete, just the part that will pung a nail in something. And I realized that he must have hit me, but I don't remember when it occurred, how it occurred. So he just caught me off guard. So that was the first set of violence after he left. On that day, I went to the police station. I've been there prior to that time, because he came back, he slashed the tires, he took out the lights for me to get down to my building. A number of things were misplaced around the house. So basically I went to the police and told them about it. And later on, from there, I went to FSN and filed for a protective order.
So in the process of the protective order being filed, I'm assuming that it was going through, something else occurred.
This occurred.
Watch the entire interview with Lucinda Gordon's story starting on Sunday on JTV Channel 55 at 1 p.m. A new thing for primary school students, cheerleading. Hear about its debut from Kathy Richards.
Adding to the diversity of activities that can positively influence boys and girls in primary schools, a cheerleading committee spearheaded by Mr. Eustace Boss Freeman, Kennedy Bass, and others successfully pulled off their first annual school cheerleading competition.
Track and field takes up a lot of income on the government's behalf, so we came up with the initiative, my friend Boss here, and along with Kimoya and Shanice. You know, we were spearheading this event for about a couple months now, and we came up with the cheerleading thing.
Our motto for our cheerleading committee is energy, is everything. Now people, it's important for the parents and the individuals in the audience to understand that cheerleading is not just about the competition. We saw it fit not only to raise funds for inter-primary school sports, but we saw it fit for the overall development of the kids. You know, and we are not just speaking about the physical development as it relates to movement, motor skills, but more on the other side, gaining attributes that they could use throughout life. I mean, some of the attributes that I'm speaking about: dedication, to be coming to practice 4 days out of the week, 3 days, 5 days in some cases. It takes dedication. Determination. It takes determination when you don't get something done what you want to get done at the first try. You try again. Teamwork. The ability to trust the teammates and work with others.
All the primary schools across the territory were invited, but 8 responded positively and did they show their skills. At the end of the day, it was the Willard Whitley Primary School that emerged the winners, taking away $2,000. In second place was Joyce Samuels of Stringers with a take of $1,000 and Alexandrina Maduro, who got third with $500. Part proceeds from the competition will go towards the execution of the inter-primary school track and field competition.
Up next in our Medical Minute, the Brain Bank. Dr. Geronimo Jones has the details in the Mayo Clinic Medical Report.
Eureka, located in the British Virgin Islands. Come, discover Eureka Medical Clinic, which provides the most complete medical services in the Virgin Islands. Our state-of-the-art clinic offers the highest quality in specialty care, cardiology, gastroenterology, orthopedics, and spinal surgery. We also offer specialty care in obstetrics and gynecology, as well as dermatology. Eureka Medical Clinic offers diagnostic procedures such as x-rays, mammograms, CAT scans, and all forms of ultrasound exams. Now, for the first time in the BVI, Eureka offers MRI scanning too. With colonoscopy and gastroscopy, we check the intestines and stomach for polyps, colon cancer, and ulcers too. Located at Geneva Place in the heart of Road Town, Eureka Medical Clinic with Medicare Pharmacy and Labs offers you a comprehensive medical facility all under one roof. So for high-quality medical services and convenience, there's no need to look any further. Eureka! You found it.
You win the lottery?
Yep, even better. I'm an investor. I insured my vehicle with Premier Insurance Limited.
What's that?
That insurance company, correction. My insurance company. We are multifaceted. Vehicle breaks down, we provide roadside assistance. We do it all. We make handling of these matters easy for our clientele. From vehicle rental, the parts at below cost, to body work and maintenance. We do it all.
Captain, where you going?
I gotta change my insurance. I want to be an investor too.
Quality services and better benefits. Shares available to policyholders after 3 years. Zero deductible for third party. Free roadside assistance with policy. Discounts for government employees. Special rates for drivers under 23 and older. For more information, contact Premier Insurance Limited at 284-495-6800 or stop by our office located at the Sunday Morning Well, Chevelle Center, for a policy that's easy to swallow.
What if evidence in your brain could lead to breakthroughs in understanding of Alzheimer's disease and Lewy body dementia? Thousands of people are hoping important answers about these disorders will come from their personal donation to the Brain Bank of the Mayo Clinic's Florida campus. In this Mayo Clinic Minute, Jeff Olson speaks with neurologist Dennis Dixon, the director for the Brain Bank, to find out more about the gift of knowledge that comes with every donation.
So she was actually above average in other areas, but only had memory problems.
The goal of this investigation will be to find out why.
I think the most important thing about Brain Bank is closure.
Dr. Dennis Dixon is the neuropathology director at the Mayo Clinic Brain Bank.
And you can actually see
he works to ensure the family behind each brain donation gets a final answer about their loved one.
The family benefits from knowledge, and as we learn more about the disease, then the whole population of individuals that are affected by the disease benefit from it as well.
Research on thousands of brain samples has already revealed important insight into Alzheimer's disease.
We also dissect the brain in a very specific and particular manner.
Brain Bank questions are being asked about Lewy body dementia, Parkinson's, and Lou Gehrig's disease, and other less common neurodegenerative disorders.
The ultimate goal of all of our studies is to come up with better ways to diagnose and ultimately to treat these incurable neurodegenerative disease processes.
That's why Dr. Dixon says this is more than a physical organ donation.
It's a gift of knowledge.
For the Mayo Clinic News Network, I'm Jeff Olson.
And before we go, a brief look at the main headlines. Education and Culture Minister Myron Walwyn says that Governor John Duncan's recent invoking of his constitutional powers offended the pride of the people of the BVI. Elmore Stout High School Principal Sandy Underhill says a comprehensive strategy is being crafted which will require the assistance of the community to inculcate discipline in students of the institution. Opposition leader Andrew Foy proposes a tourism training center to reduce the issuing of work permits and making more jobs available for BVI landers. Soca Monarch competition joins 2017 Emancipation Festival lineup. The big story this week, domestic violence survivor Lucinda Gordon shares her near-death experience at the hands of her former spouse. In Caribbean news, weather forecasters keep watch on Tropical Depression 4. Germany reportedly shells out millions for leaked Panama Papers data to nab tax evaders and other crimes. And soca star Destra Garcia successfully sued by Belize man who claimed she ruptured his bladder during a stage performance. Just a reminder that you can find all the news stories featured in this newscast as well as previous newscasts on our website jtvlive.net. Additional information and news updates can be found on our Facebook page, facebook.com/JTV55. If you haven't already, please visit our Facebook page to let us know that you like us. Of course, all our news features, press conferences, and JTV's television programs can be found on our JTV News YouTube channel. Do subscribe for daily uploads. We welcome your questions and comments and story ideas. Email us at jtvnews@hotmail.com. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Peter Gay Coombs. Thank you for watching.